Welcome to Encounter, where we celebrate putting faith into action and community leaders who live out compassion, grace, and love. We're a program of the Broome County Council of Churches that addresses food insecurity through CHOW and the Greater Good Grocery, provides hospital and jail ministry, builds wheelchair ramps, and assists neighbors with transportation and shopping services through Faith in Action volunteers. We invite you to the conversation. Encounter your neighbors as we learn to walk together in love and kindness.
Yes, it's the old guy again. Hi, I'm Jeff Kellam. I'll be your host today on Encounter. I serve as the Parish Associate at the Union Presbyterian Church in Endicott, New York. Of course, it's New York. Why did I say that? Many of us know about Mercy House. We've had friends there or family perhaps who have lived out their last days in this comforting and warm, caring atmosphere with volunteers and professionals guiding folks through those last days of their lives. The Mercy House website says it's a community care shelter which provides a home, a supportive family to people with terminal illnesses who can no longer remain at home. It's an exciting time for Mercy House because tomorrow something exciting happens, and our guest will tell us about that. And then coming up toward the end of the month, on October 24th, is the 11th annual Gala of Taste. And we'll see how to pronounce that as we talk to Cerra, who's the executive director of Mercy House. Welcome to Encounter. Now, last time we talked, it was at Mercy House.
Right.
We produced the program there, and so we got a glimpse of the rooms and the atmosphere, the little waterfall.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And inside. And now here we are in the studio, but describe for us the ministry of Mercy House before we talk a little bit about tomorrow's event.
Sure. So we care for the terminally ill 24/7. We have currently we have 10 bedrooms, and we have a staff of 24, both part-time and full-time, and over 200 active volunteers.
Wow.
And so when our residents move into Mercy House, we become their extended family. And their family and friends can come and spend time with them and just enjoy each other's company, friendship, family time. And we take care of everything.
Yeah.
Medications, personal care, food, clean, the family doesn't have to worry about anything.
Right. So comforting at a very hard time for many families, the idea of saying goodbye.
Right.
But doing it in a place where you really feel support that you probably won't find almost anywhere else. And about over 1,200 people have been residents.
Right.
Yep.
Over the past 8.5 years.
Yeah.
About 1,242 residents and their families have come through our doors.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that ministry, but let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right. So tomorrow at 10 a.m., we will have our groundbreaking ceremony for our expansion, which will be a one-story, 2,500 square foot addition to Mercy House, which will allow us to care for more people in our community. So we will expand by adding 6 new resident rooms with private bathrooms, and we'll have more storage, and of course the resident carried station will have one there on that side of the building, so they can chart and etc. So very excited for that. There's a need, so we thought let's try to accomplish that now. So we've been working on that the past couple of years. So very excited for that tomorrow.
Oh, I'll bet. Now, who will be involved in the groundbreaking?
The Lourdes Foundation, Robert O'Connell. They have been a support of Mercy House from the inception. Our board president will be there. We have a 16-person board of directors that govern Mercy House. They'll be there. Jason Gardner from the county will be there, and they've also supported us through the Broome County Small Grants Awards. And then other donors who have supported Mercy House from the beginning, but also for the expansion. So we have raised just over $1 million for the $2 million project, and we're very grateful. So all of those folks will be there as well.
Right. We ought to talk about the location. Mercy House is in a former church.
Right, St. Casimir's.
Yeah, St. Casimir's Church in Endicott.
Right.
What's the address?
212 North McKinley Ave.
Okay.
Right.
The expansion is going to be very exciting. Difficult to have construction going on when you have this pastoral, very quiet atmosphere. You making plans for that?
We are. So over the past couple of years, we've executed some of our strategic plan where we last year renovated the chapel, and that became our new kitchen. And then the old kitchen became the new chapel. So very nice, and it also allows the quiet space. So then on the other side of the kitchen, that's where the construction, that's where the addition will be.
Right.
So we do have some barriers there, and they will set up, the construction and all of that to have minimal impact on the current, residents.
Sure.
So
you have 200 volunteers.
we do.
What kind of trainings does it take to become a volunteer in a hospice situation?
So when people make inquiries about volunteering, we have them fill out a volunteer application right online at mercyhousesoutherntier.com. Goes to our volunteer manager, and then he will reach out and have a conversation. They'll come in for a new volunteer orientation. We do background checks on everyone. And then they get to pick their area of expertise where they would like to volunteer. So it might be in the kitchen cooking. It could be cleaning. It could be answering the phones at reception. It could be that they want to be a companion and sit with folks. Or a caregiver that will support our staff. So we do have several retired nurses that are there as caregivers. So they come to us with some training, if you will.
Yeah.
And then we also have the volunteers. Once the background check is complete and fine, they will train with our veteran, staff or volunteers before they go out on their own.
Yeah. These last days that families are facing with their loved one are going to vary from person to person. Sometimes that person has been ready to die for some time. Other times it's a very difficult time of transition.
Right.
The pastoral nature of the volunteers or your professionals, tell me about how you assess your relationship to the family and to the patient.
Every family is different, which is great, right? So it's not always cookie cutter. So we customize the care for those folks. So some residents come in, they have a lot of family, and they're at a place where they're okay with what is going on at the end of their journey and with their loved ones. Sometimes we have residents come in that don't have any family.
Wow.
Yep. And then some come in and they're not happy that they're there, right? They would like to live a few more years, but that's not the plan, right? So we have social workers, Guthrie Hospice. So social workers come in, they have deacons that come in. We have a social worker on staff as well. We also have Father Clarence Rumble, who's the founder of Mercy House. He comes in daily, says hello. He'll cook, bake. He's a big part of not only having the vision for Mercy House, but he's involved with the families. And it's all about hospitality. So we gauge our care and interaction based upon the family needs and the resident needs.
Right.
Some like to be left alone a little bit more than others, and others want, all the volunteers they can get in there, or the staff, or where's Father Clarence, right? So, so we just go based upon the family members and give them everything that they need. It's like being at home. I tell them, if you wake up at midnight, you want a bowl of ice cream, just let the staff know. They'll bring it in.
Right.
No worries.
Right.
Yeah.
No worries.
No worries.
Yeah. As a pastor, I have been with many people in their last days, hours, minutes. And I know that we have a 102-year-old friend who called us to say goodbye a week or so ago. She's still fine, but she was having a bad day. So, but she's ready. She says she's ready. I visited another person who, in the hospital, not quite awake, was going like this. She was fighting it, So I know that it's different for everyone.
Right.
And then, in these last days, if you were an introvert, you don't lose that introversion. If you were an extrovert, you don't lose the extroversion. Right. So I can see where you have to really pay attention to the needs of these folks.
Absolutely. Yep. And they deserve, they deserve that. They're in our home, and we're caring for them, and they deserve that respect, dignity, that compassionate care that we all provide for them. And their friends and family members, of course, are there, and our volunteers, and so they deserve that.
Sure.
Yeah.
What brought you into this work?
Oh my. 2014, my father passed away, and Father Clarence was just getting this vision, to everyone's attention.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to be a part of this. I was very involved with my father's care, and we always want the best for our loved ones, right?
Yes.
Always the best. And I thought, if I can make a difference in helping other people have good care at the end of their life, which isn't easy, whether they're ready or not, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really not easy for the family.
Sure.
So if I could make an impact and help with that, so there you go, and fast forward 10 years later.
Yeah. Now, how is someone referred to Mercy House?
Well, they can call Mercy House, the family, and speak with our nursing staff. They can also call Lourdes Hospice, and we do have referrals from the palliative care teams at BGH, UHS, and Lourdes, Guthrie Lourdes. And sometimes people refer themselves.
You don't need to have a doctor refer you. Your family could call, you can call.
They can call, and then to be admitted to hospice, they need the referral.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So, but they call for the information. They want to, get their name on the list. And sometimes the families, or even the resident, they want to come down and tour Mercy House if they haven't seen it, to help make that decision for them when it's time.
And if folks want to get a glimpse of the ministry of Mercy House, they can go online to mercyhousesoutherntier.com.
Right. Com. Right.
Okay, mercyhousesoutherntier.com would be the website. Our guest today is Linda Cerra. She is the executive director of Mercy House of the Southern Tier. So tomorrow's the groundbreaking.
Yes, 10 a.m.
And then coming up on October 24th at Our Lady of Good Counsel Church in West Endicott. Tell me about, and I want to hear you pronounce G-L-A. G-L-A.
Gala.
Gala. You're going to call it gala.
The gala,
Okay.
yes. So it's our 11th annual gala. And if you haven't been, oh my gosh, please get online and register to come. It's a lot of fun. Food, it's 6 to 9 on Thursday, the 24th. So we transform the Parish Center into a high-end cocktail party. So there's wine tasting with local New York State wineries, food by PS Restaurant, which is always good, and they've been our partner for 11 years in this. And desserts, there's raffles, there's musical entertainment. We have Rick Pedro, Jeff Lake, Ayana Del Valle, and Teza will be performing. We'll have a live auction. We also will display and start to sell our 2024 holiday ornaments.
Right.
And Conti's Jewelers will also be there selling the Mercy House blessing bracelets. So a lot going on. We also have a virtual auction. So folks that kind of like to stay home, maybe sit on the couch in their pajamas, have a cup of tea, and they can bid online on, the website for the gala.
Right.
And we'll live stream as well.
Oh, wow. Good.
Yes. Yeah.
How much does it cost?
It's $100 per person or $175 per couple.
Right.
And all proceeds help offset the expenses for Mercy House.
And whether you're building an addition or not, this has been a financial campaign or project every year, and so this will be number 11.
Number 11, and it's exciting, and we appreciate the community support, and it's always very successful. Every year it gets better and better, and we're blessed to offer this and host this fundraiser.
So we'll mention that time and date again, but I'll say it now again, October 24th from 6 to 9 at Our Lady of Good Counsel Church in the corner of Grippen and West Main Street.
Yes.
I know the area well. You mentioned palliative care earlier. What's the difference between that and hospice?
And that's a great question. That's a question that we get a lot. Palliative care is, to us, the first step into going into hospice. So palliative care, you could be at home, you're still receiving care, you're still treating an illness.
Yeah.
When you come into hospice, you are at the end of your journey, 6 months or less, and it's comfort care. So really treating the symptoms and making sure that the person's comfortable.
Right. My understanding, or my experience, I should say, is that some folks who go into hospice recover a bit.
Yes.
That with the attention and with the care, suddenly they have a little bit more time.
Yes, and we've seen that at Mercy House.
Yeah.
There's always hope. So we've had, I would say, 7 or 8 residents that came in, and with the care, right, they stabilize. And then all of a sudden they're okay.
Yeah.
And so they're not within that time frame of 6 months or less, or we take residents 3 months or less, but to fulfill our mission at that end of life.
Right.
But sometimes they're there longer.
Yeah.
And they stabilize to the point where they could go home or to assisted living, or skilled nursing, or sometimes they elect, I feel better, I want to pursue some more treatment. And so then they'll go and, pursue those other avenues.
They're then released from hospice.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And sometimes they do so well that they don't recertify for hospice.
Yeah.
They don't even, they don't qualify.
Right.
So, and they have, more time to go.
But those are unusual circumstances.
Yes. Yeah.
For most folks, these are their last days or weeks.
Right.
And the pastoral care that they receive is of all faiths, or is it Catholic? Is it Protestant?
We're non-denominational.
Okay.
And all clergy are welcome. So we see all different faiths there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just Catholic. Years ago, people thought, to go to Mercy House, I have to be Catholic because it was a Catholic church.
Right.
No.
Right.
We're non-denominational.
A little bit late to go into the confirmation process at that point.
Yes, right, yeah.
And to meet with the priest and so on. Yeah.
Right.
And I want to go back now again to the folks who are volunteering. The number of hours that folks put in as volunteers, almost across the board in volunteerism,
Right.
it depends on how much time you have to offer.
Right.
So what's the average number of hours somebody might be there week by week?
Well, it varies. We have some folks that come once a week. some that come twice a week, and then some that volunteer once a month. So it's all based upon their schedule, and they self-schedule. So we don't produce the schedules.
Right.
We don't assign people.
Yeah.
So that's nice, because then they can come when it's good for their schedule. And we were just looking at some of the reports the other day. So we had 12,000 hours total of volunteers over the past 10 months. 12,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you kind of have to log that for your fundraising
Oh, yes,
and for
absolutely.
grants and so on.
Yes, and for audits. Yes. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep.
The support that staff gives is not only for the folks who are residents at Mercy House, but I'll bet there are some volunteers who need some support as well, who find this perhaps more difficult than they thought it was going to be.
True, and a lot of our volunteers, they have great days, and we encourage them. We make sure they're ready to volunteer, on a shift by, themselves. So that's important. And they leave Mercy House saying that they get more out of it than what they feel they're giving.
Yeah.
Which is remarkable.
Yeah.
And there are some days, when it might be tough if someone passes and it was, maybe somebody they got to know a little bit. The average length of stay is 20 days. So some folks come in, they might be there a day, unfortunately, and then sometimes they're there for 3 months.
Yeah.
And so that could be tough on them. But, we have such a great team of the social workers and the staff looking out for each other and our volunteers.
Yeah. And the volunteer opportunities will be listed on the website, I would imagine.
Yes, there's a volunteer page.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Which, once again, is mercyhousesoutherntier.com.
Right.
Yeah. Our guest is Linda Cerra, the executive director. I remember being with an elderly woman in our church when I was in the parish ministry. And while I was there, she passed away. And this was in a nursing home, and the nursing staff had really gotten attached to her. And I went to the desk and I said, I think Beverly has gone. I think she's gone. And so they called the staff together, and they gathered around the bedside and had a quiet moment, which I was very impressed with. I'd never been in the nursing home at that time. But I was quite moved by the fact that they were saying their goodbye to this person.
Oh, yes. So we often will, the staff that's there, the volunteers, they'll come in, and Father Clarence, when he's there, he'll say a prayer, with the family there, and the staff and volunteers who are on, that day, that shift.
Right.
And then what we do is we have a prayer card and a rose, and we make up, clean the room, make up the bed, and then we place the prayer card, their name, and the rose on the pillow for 24 hours out of respect.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I remember that from our interview before, and I remember seeing that room.
Yes, we still do that. It's just very respectful.
I'm also interested in the fact that your chapel became the kitchen, and the kitchen became the chapel.
Yeah.
In the Christian tradition, gathering at the table is part of, it's not a ritual, that's too cold a word for it, but whether it's the communion table or the Eucharist table or the gathering of folks in fellowship halls to celebrate meals together, spaghetti dinners and that kind of thing. So the offerings of the kitchen and the chapel together are, I find that kind of an interesting connection. Let's talk about I think there were folks who were bringing in baked goods and that kind of thing. Were they not? And
they were.
People were offering food from the...
Yeah. So our kitchen, the volunteers will cook or bake, there. Or we do have a lot of bakers in the community that will bake at home and then bring it in for the residents and the families and the volunteers and the staff as well.
Yeah.
So very generous community. And then sometimes we will have donations from local restaurants. They'll come in and bring in pans of ziti or meatballs, vegetables. Sometimes the local high schools, the athletic groups, that will have like a chicken barbecue fundraiser.
Right.
If there's anything left over, chicken dinners, they bring it down to Mercy House.
Wow.
So, it does take a village, and our community is great.
Yeah.
So,
And I can imagine that food is we talk about comfort food. Well,
right.
anything in this atmosphere is going to bring comfort to the families, especially as they gather in the living areas and the common areas of Mercy House.
Yes.
Well, once again, the groundbreaking, tell us again about that in case folks have joined us late.
Yep, 10 a.m. tomorrow at Mercy House. And you can also, we'll live stream it. So you can go to the Mercy House Facebook page. Whether you Facebook or not, it'll be there, the public page, and you can watch the groundbreaking.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
we're very excited and very grateful that we can break ground and be better able to serve our community.
And then there's also the gala, which is coming up on October 24th at Our Lady of Good Counsel Church.
Right.
That's from 6 to 9 p.m.
Yes.
And $100 per person, or $175 for couples. See,
Right. You got that
I'm
down.
remembering these things when it deals with food and celebrations and galas.
Right.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the fundraising for that evening is just part of the fundraising for the normal operation of Mercy House.
Correct.
And the fundraising for the new addition is going to be ongoing, I would imagine.
Ongoing, and that you can go to the website, and on our homepage, you'll see there's an expansion fund for donations that people can just click on, and that goes directly for the expansion, the construction.
And what about the major giving for that?
Well, that's still, we have written many grants, and those have come in. We still have a few pending, but if there's any major donors, they certainly can call.
Right.
Call me at Mercy House.
Right.
And go on the website. We'd be, of course, happy to chat about any major donors. But yeah.
Very briefly, is there a connection among various hospice organizations in the area? Do you all work together in some way?
We do. So Guthrie Vestal Hospice is our partner, and hospice in our area is Guthrie is the only hospice.
Right. Okay.
So, but there is a mega network across the U.S. that we're a member of, and they're all hospice homes like Mercy House.
Right.
That partner with local hospice agencies.
Right.
So we do a lot of brainstorming and collaboration with them.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Again, our guest today has been Linda Cerra, the Executive Director of Mercy House, and we invite you to watch the groundbreaking tomorrow online if you have a chance, and remember the gala that you can attend also. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Encounter, produced in cooperation with the Broome County Council of Churches. I'm Jeff Kellam, thanking you for being with us and hoping that in the coming week you'll be gentle with people and with yourself.